You know, whether intentional or not, I have a feeling that Soundcore is following in the footsteps of Bose, like slowly building the brand, making products that people want to have, and offering pretty much everything that Bose has in their catalog, almost like product for product. Speakers, well, Soundcore's got it. Headphones, earbuds, well, they've nailed it. Car audio, well, not yet, but it's only a matter of time that we see Tuned by Soundcore in a Mercedes or something. And how about the Bose Frames smart audio glasses? Well, Soundcore has decided to crash that party by bringing its own take on it, which TLDR is pretty darn good. So this, my friends, is the Soundcore Frames. And it's like they didn't even try to be creative with the name here. And I've reviewed it, so you don't have to. And as always, let's check it out together. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video. After these messages... Well, here's the Soundcore Frames, guys, and this retails for $200, and for that you get a frame, the tempo arms, a charging cable, and I'll show the cable in a second, it's really darn cool looking, and a storage case, and I'll talk more about the case later on in the show. Now, each additional interchangeable frame costs an extra $50 if you like to, and there's 10 different designs that you can pick from, guys, from this aviator type Top Gun looking tour to a slimmer profile harbor right there, or this older school looking landmark. And most of these lenses that you see, at least the sunglass models, aside from the clear ones, are polarized, and because they block horizontal wavelengths, you know how it works. It helps with glare, UVA, UVB, as well as blue light filtering. Now on board the arms itself, there's Bluetooth 5.2 with support for SBC and AAC. There's no aptX here. And in terms of battery life, Soundcore claims an industry-leading 5.5 hours of listening time. I've been getting closer to like 4.5 to 4.6 hours at 65% volume. Now for reference, when we tested the Bose frames back in the day, I managed a little over 3 hours at the same volume, for what it's worth. Now water resistance is IPX4 as well, so you can sweat and work out in it. And by the way, these lenses, you don't have to keep them, you know, you can swap them out for prescription ones from your local eye doctor if you want to. And in terms of build quality, regardless of whether you choose the plastic or metal frames, they're really solid, barely any kind of twist, and really light as well. And depending on the design or model that you get, some of them have interesting design elements put into it. So it makes me feel like there is some kind of thought put into it and not just like 10 designs for the sake of 10 designs, you know what I mean? And the back here is the groove or the slot for the arms themselves. I hope it focuses. And right there you can see the pitchfork design. It's all metal, so nice and solid there. Some longevity at least. And it slots right in place. It takes a lot of force to get it apart. The best way to take it apart is to pinch and then pull. And here's the arm, by the way. And first impression, this thing is much slimmer than what you find on the Bose frames as well as the Soundpeats Frame S. This thing, really well thought out, Soundcore, really nice. But one thing I wish there was an option is this shiny plastics. I wish there was matte plastic or something, because I didn't clean this on purpose. You can see all the smudges and the fingerprints. At the curve of the arm right here, there are two speaker grills that you can see. They project from the back as well as from the front. I'm not sure what the driver sizes are, but I'll talk about sound quality in a bit. And one thing I wish that Soundcore had thought of, so the tempo is a fixed length, by the way. There's no option for different size heads, unlike Bose. So this is 140 millimeters. I wish this was flexible so it allows users to better curve it around the ears for better customization. At the bottom here is some charging connectors flanked by magnets, a venting port right there on each side. And here, let me try to focus on that. There is a wear detection sensor right there, so it'll pause, play, as well as turn off the device when it comes off your head. This accepts touch commands, by the way. Right here on the logo, there's single, double, as well as swipe. And it also does voice commands. I'll show you how it's done in the app. You have to turn it on. Oh, and another thing, there's only one microphone that I can see that handles phone calls on this entire unit. So I'm kind of curious later on to show how this will do in the phone call quality test. And here is the charging cable, by the way. Look how weird it is. It looks like an umbilical cord, doesn't it? It's 2 feet long and it connects like so. It just plugs in like that. And come on, let's do it. It's pretty quick and pretty easy once you get the hang of it. And it's kind of strange, but yet it works. Alright, what I'm going to do right now is focus on some of the standout features for the Soundcore frames within the Soundcore app. And so below the sunglass graphic right here, we see Open Surround. If you turn that on, it supposedly opens up the listening experience, kind of like an outdoor concert kind of deal. And you can dial up or down the strength of the algorithm. But myself, I prefer to just keep it off. It doesn't really do it for me. Now, under sound effects, default EQ, you have 5 presets, and under custom EQ, there's a 9-band equalizer for you. And really on a device like this, it is not necessary. but it doesn't hurt either. Now, privacy mode, if you turn that on, it sounds like it's supposed to dull certain frequencies, so sound or music or phone calls doesn't bother people near you as much, but it behaves, at least to my ears, more like a volume decrease button. It goes down like 2 or 3 levels. Now, wear calibration, this thing right here is meant to calibrate the wear detection sensors. And let's go back out here, and under controls, you can customize how double taps and swipes on your temples behave. It's limited in really what you can do, but definitely useful nonetheless. Now, to activate voice control when you first get it, you need to head to laboratory function, go to voice control, and turn this puppy on. Now, these bold text below seem like placeholders of some kind. I don't know why they're there or what they do, but at the moment, they don't do anything. Select language for voice control. If you tap it, nothing happens. No wait command. Grammatically, it doesn't make any sense why it's there. All right, we're outside about to do the Bluetooth range test. You want to join me now? It is sunny and cold at the same time. I am super confused and not sure what to make of it, but I have a new song playing here. We're going to test this. This is Lizzie McAlpine's. I've talked about her before, but she has a new song out called Doomsday. I'll link it down below. The music video is super awesome. But anyways, the phone is at the end of my deck right there, and I'm going to take the frames and you guys from the back of my house towards the side. Oh, that's chilly. And we'll see when we get disconnection issues. So there's the phone, and where I'm standing is around 25 feet, and just for your reference. And these things have Bluetooth 5.2, so should last around 33 feet or 10 meters. And right around here, usually earbuds start getting issues, but it's still going strong. That's impressive. I'm gonna keep walking. Wow, it's cold. First sign of this signal issues right here, signal loss, is around 40 feet, so that's not bad. I'm gonna keep walking until we get a full disconnect tone. How about that? How you guys doing? Thank you for joining me today. One weird thing, a hard thing about this review is, you know, I wear glasses. I can't see a lick of this. I don't have any kind of prescription on these. So yeah, man, I'm just, if I run into a car, if I die midway, you know, I'm doing this, and yeah, you see it. It was nice knowing you guys. Still going strong. It's holding on to a signal. Well, I wouldn't say strong, it's unintelligible, but I hear it from time to time. Oh, there's the tone right there. It's around, well, too far to count, but yeah, just for reference, and I was just doing it for fun. You guys can see how these fit on my head. They're really, really nice, just like a good set of sunglasses, really nice stuff. And yeah, it's very comfortable, very light. Of course, you can change the frames out. And I really do like the controls of these, and I'll talk more about that later on. And the sound quality, especially in an environment like this, it's not bad at all. It's listenable. We're back in range, and I got a tone, and the music continues, so I don't have to tap it, so that's nice. But yeah, I'm kind of curious how these things handle Bluetooth phone calls. If you're interested, let's head down to the road right now. All right, we're heading down to the road right now to get some sound samples, and hopefully you can hear for yourselves how these things handle a noisy environment like this. So I'm going to switch between the G85 and these frames, and you can hear hopefully how they sound. Intonation is kind of light on the bass. It's, you know, it's there. Especially when these are open back and when you're listening to phone calls, it really does sound really light, especially when you're listening to the other caller. Now, some of you have also asked me to test these when it was windy. Unfortunately, it's pretty quiet right now. But a couple of days ago, it was bustling enough to, you know, throw leaves around and everything. And these things, yeah, they were okay. So here's something to note. 2 mics only on one side, on the right temple, and that's it. There's nothing on the left. So if it's windy, you can always face your face on this side and protect the 2 mics for what it's worth. But you can hear for yourself, I sound okay, but noise suppression itself is just barely all right. It's not very typical of Soundcore, maybe Soundcore of old, but not something you know, that's meant for a 2021 model, but here it is. But anyways, it is what it is. In a relatively noisy environment and quiet environment, these things are good, but when it's noisy, yeah, they give up the ghost pretty quickly. Almost every aspect of the Soundcore frames is better executed than the Bose frames, and let alone the much cheaper Soundpeats Frame S right here. From the build quality to the number of frame options to the controls. I mean, you have touch and voice, guys, and the app experience. And for what it's worth too, even unboxing the Soundcore is more memorable. The form factor, and I'm talking about the tempos here in particular, is pretty respectable considering that these guys included a lot of features that you'll find in the chunkier Bose sports frames, while staying close to the Bose fashion frames in terms of size. The $700 Koros Vertex 2 that we looked at last week has a fantastic case. And guess what? So does the Soundcore. And the way it works, and I actually had more fun demonstrating this to my family than even the glasses, it stores your frames just like any other case, but then when you're wearing the frames itself, what do you do with the case? It's bulky and you have nothing to put it in. Well, all you have to do is actually fold it down flat and it turns into something like a checkbook that you can slip into your pocket. In terms of sound quality, as long as you come into this with the expectation that this really is like an open air, not in your ear kind of headphone, for the lack of a better term, that's also a fashion accessory, you will be surprised by the audio that these do pump out. And the way Soundcore places the speakers both in front and behind your ears, and how my ears perceive the sound, it reminds me of an open back Super Oro headphone. It's spacious and has pretty good sound staging with the vocals right here centered in my head, or at least the illusion of it, and the instruments somewhat surrounding that space. But ooey, this thing has less bass than a, I don't know, Girl Scout sleepover party or something. But granted though, this kind of thing is really hard to do, producing bass on this kind of product, because nothing is touching the ears. But I have to knock it nonetheless because there's absolutely almost no bass. But that being said, I did find that if you wear earmuffs when it's cold out or hats with side flaps, bass does pick up quite a fair bit. And while we're on this topic of sound, two things. If you have this at 80% volume or higher, plus have any of your EQ settings like set way up, like maximum, you will hear distortion, major ones. And secondly, be prepared that these glasses will piss people off because, let's face it, some folks don't want to hear your tunes invading into their quiet space. I'm one of those people. Actually, no, I'm not. Even though I'm 45, yeah, oh, look, it's a squirrel. Get off my lawn, squirrel. While the build is solid, the materials are not, particularly on the arms right here. More so because it's wider than your regular glasses, so people are visually gonna see it. So things like scratches and smudges, it's a matter of when, not if. They're definitely gonna happen. This next one has been documented like everywhere, but I want you guys to bear in mind that polarized lenses don't always play nice with certain older LCDs, especially in bright daylight, because all you'll be seeing is a completely dark screen, so don't freak out. And this is really how polarized lenses work. They cancel out vertical light waves, which coincidentally, some older LCDs also produce. I'm putting this next one in the neutral territory because on one hand, the Soundcore frames trumps the Bose frames by like 10 to 40 bucks, depending on what submodel you get. But it's still not as cheap as the Soundpeats Frame S, this guy right here, which goes for, get this, 50 bucks. And yes, you can argue that neither of these options, either the Bose or the Soundpeats, are as advanced or offer as much for the money. But I say, if you're just dabbling in this category for the first time ever and don't want to invest too much, I say the Soundpeats would be the most logical, albeit uglier bet. I personally don't think Soundcore expects this to be one of the highest revenue products out there, but what is clear is that they actually put some thought into these frames rather than just creating a new product just for the sake of it or copying someone else outright. I'm impressed with the execution here, guys, and how it sounds, how it looks, how it works. And I mean, there are some question marks such as the longevity of the hinges, how many cycles of push-pulls can this withstand, material choices, the lack of bass. Plus, I think it's priced maybe $40 to $50 too high, especially for those who just want to buy a set and also add more frames to their collection. I can see the cost really starting to add up. But my guess at the same time is we'll start seeing discounts on these pretty soon. But anyway, Soundcore, great first effort, and I'm wondering what version 2.0 will be like, because maybe, well, color or material options for the tempos, maybe better drivers, I don't know, with some kind of bone conduction tech, maybe. So with all that said, I'm gonna give the Soundcore frames a GearUP score of 7.9 out of 10, and this is how I broke it down to get the final score. If you have any questions about it, feel free to comment down below. Plus, if you're interested in checking these out, I've also put the links for the frames right down here as well. Well, that's all I got today, guys, and thank you so much for being here. And if you like this video and like the stuff that I do on this channel, please consider subscribing. Just mash and kill the button down below. Yeah, smack it like it's been naughty and turn on the bell notification icon to get notified whenever I drop new videos. Also, share it with your friends and family because I'm trying to get to 50,000, 100,000. I would really like the silver play button on the back wall right here. Would you like to see that right there? Try to get me there, guys, so please help me out. And also I'm on Patreon right here. If you would like to financially support me like these two guys and get shouted out every week, that would be super awesome. And also remember to thumbs up if you like this video and comment nicely down below. And thumbs down. Thumbs down to people who still use checkbooks at the grocery store. Yes, I'm talking to you 80-year-old viewers on my channel. At this age, when time is literally of the essence, why won't you use something faster like your smartphones or your touch pays or your, smartwatches and such? Just get in the fast lane, guys. Time to do it, because you don't want to do everything slowly. Yes. Yeah, that was bad. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. I love y'all so much. Remember to do something kind and loving for somebody in this world, because guess what? The world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love y'all. Peace out.